What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today it's Friday, so it's not my day, it's your day. Injure, he's in the tower. We need to find him. We need to see what exotic gear he's got for us. We need to see if there's anything worthwhile, and we definitely need to grade the greedy, hooded son-of-a-bitch. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, one other big piece of news. Destiny is pretty much back to normal. We've got trials going on, and next week we are going to be getting back the Iron Banner. So even though we lost it this week, it is not gone. We're going to still get an Iron Banner in June, and that should be really exciting, and I'm glad that it's going to be around. It's going to be Clash. Anyway, here is Xur, and we can see what he's got. A little bit of everything. Starting off on our Titan, we have the Mark 44 stand-asides, and let's put it this way. If you want to be in PvP and focus on shoulder charging, you'll probably want to put these on. These are definitely much more suited for PvP than PvE. In PvE, I would strongly recommend the Peregrine Greaves for the extra damage and the fact that there's just a larger health pool in PvE. But for PvP, you could maybe consider these training wheels for shoulder charging, because it lets you basically run and hold your shoulder charge for longer than you normally would. So maybe you could start out with these, get an idea for how long the shoulder charge will take before you have to pop it off, and then as you get comfortable shoulder charging, you can then take them off and put on some better gear. I'm going to go ahead and give these things a C, because I just don't see them as anything much more than a crutch. I feel like they're just better exotic pieces to put on because you only get one choice, and it's really only one choice in PvP because they're really not suitable for PvE. But if you've got to put on an exotic piece of gear for your Titan, put on the Armamentarium in PvP, just like everybody else. Anyway, moving on to our Hunter, we've got the Lucky Raspberry. Again, I say this all the time, but this was one of the last pieces of armor, exotic armor, that I ended up needing in year 1 to get all of my exotics for year 1. And unfortunately, this chest piece is definitely better in year 1 than year 2, and it's not the fault of the chest piece at all. It's because arc bolt grenades are just junk in year 2. They got nerfed and they have never recovered. So the fact that this lets the arc bolt grenades charge for a further amount doesn't really help all that much because nobody is using the arc bolt grenades anyway, and that is a big problem. I'm still going to give these things a B+ though, and the reason why is because they have an extra perk that lets you spawn with additional grenade energy whenever you revive. So that's always a good thing, and there are not many pieces of gear in Destiny that gives you a free grenade. And free grenades are always nice. Even if grenades are constantly being hit and nerfed, it's always nice to have that in your arsenal. So these things are going to get a B+ because having that grenade on every revive is going to be useful at some point. Moving on to the Warlock, we have the Claws of Ahamkara. And this might be a little bit controversial because the claws are going through a little bit of a resurgence, but just bear with me. I'm going to just start off with the grade right now and then explain why. I'm giving these things a B. Now, the claws have been around for a long time. These have been around from the beginning, and they were only really very rarely used on Sunsingers, mainly to get those 2 one-shot kills with your melee whenever you popped Radiance. Now they're seeing a little bit more use because of the Stormcaller, because of his extremely long range whenever he hits his melee. And that's awesome. That's great. But here's the one problem that I have with the claws. The claws have been bugged whenever you use Transcendence, where you need to have both charges fully up in order for Transcendence to proc. And that's a bad thing, because it's really difficult to get up your second charge because it doesn't take your strength into consideration. So that makes it where these are kind of hindering you using Transcendence, and I love Transcendence for the extra time that you get in your super, and the fact that it charges down a little bit slower. I really like that as a perk. Also, if you put these on, you can't put on the Impossible Machines, which means that you have to pick between Ionic Blink and Landfall, and just couple all of those things together, and I just don't find these as the major thing to wear for the Stormcaller. If you love it in the neutral game, you'll probably put these on, but I think that they maybe hurt the class overall just a little bit, unless that bug gets fixed. If that gets fixed, these things would be an absolutely amazing choice because you could have that massive range and still use Transcendence. Anyway, moving on to the weapon. We're getting weapons now. We're no longer getting those exotic engrams, which is a good thing. And we have the Patience in Time, which is new to the Taken King as far as the April update goes. And it's got Third Eye, and it also has a final perk that is Patience in Time that lets you be camouflaged whenever you're aiming down the scope. So Third Eye and Patience in Time works extremely well together. These two perks synergize great. And basically what it does is it gives you an exotic that feels exotic. It's got something that no other gun in the game has. So for that, that is awesome. I'm going to give this a B though. I think you'll want to use this a little bit more in PvP than you would in PvE. The problem is it's got that little bit of a lower impact though that has been lessened with the changes to revival sniping. This thing is pretty awesome, but it is an exotic, which means that it's going to take up your exotic slot. So if you're using the Patience in Time, it means you might sacrifice something else. Still not a bad gun, and I don't believe I own it in year 2, so I'm going to buy it from Jur right now. I mean, why not? So there we go. We're actually buying something from Jur, and that's pretty cool. We don't get to do that very often. I think that is my final piece of exotic gear. Actually, I think the only thing that I'm missing in year 2 still might be that crazy freaky stone titan helmet. Also remember that these legacy engrams are only year 1 gear. Don't buy them expecting to get anything as far as light level for year 2 or any year 2 items. Only year 1. That was Jur this week. That was us actually buying a weapon from Jur. Don't get to do that very often. Did you buy anything at all from Jur this week? Anyway guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your Jur, and I'll see you around. In Destiny, I've got all the patience and time in the world.